want to give a quick Patreon shout out to some of our new Patreon patrons. I think I'm caught up, but some of you might be repeated here. But I just want to give a huge thank you to Lindsay Rumpf, Ferran Sagebeal, Rachel Sparks, and Fru Hallgrimstadter. That is almost certainly incorrectly pronounced, but I do appreciate you nonetheless. So thank you everybody for being Patreon supporters. Just know that Greg and I love you. Kolten, ready? Welcome everybody to episode 69 of the Serial Chillers podcast from the Super Network studio. I am here with co-host Greg in his bunker across the internet. You'll have to add the sound in post, I'm sorry. How goes it, co-host Greg?
I'm all right. I'm just chilling and shit.
Yeah, hella Greg, chilling in the bunker, doing the damn thing. That's the general drill, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
That's the way it goes.
Well, I have two returning guests in the studio. You've been here many times before. Robbie, your fourth time, correct?
I think that's my fourth time.
Fourth time. Welcome back, Robbie.
Hello.
Yay. His 73rd time here in the studio. Welcome back. We lost all the theme songs, so don't prepare for it. Bigfoot.
Hey. I love you all.
This guy's been on the show a couple times, but it's the first time making an appearance in the studio. Welcome to the motherfucking studio, Kolten.
Thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Oh, dude, the hand-horn hit me with it.
Yeah. That's
the best thing
yeah,
you can do right
sorry. You gotta update my soundboard. So, oh man, fuck yeah. It is going to be a good episode, you guys. And I know that you guys know how the show works. Let me explain it for anybody that doesn't. Each week I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer. Throughout the show, you guys can chime in on my story. And if you brought a story of your own that is true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious, please feel free to share it. Lastly, if you have questions about questions, make sure to ask questions because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never ask questions. Are there any questions?
Nope.
Then welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. It's just so beautiful how you just hear it and it rolls off and it's just so beautiful. Today, you guys, your serial killer. Tell me, have you heard of Wayne Adam Ford?
Nope.
You gotta be kidding. You've never heard of Wayne Adam Ford.
Surprisingly, no.
Oh my gosh. I didn't get you guys cards. Pins are on the table right in front of Casey there. All right. Question number 1. In what year? Let me do that again.
You can do better.
Question number 1.
Hit it.
In what year was Wayne Adam Ford born? Closest to the answer gets 250 points. If you nail it, you get 1,000. Robbie says 1950. Kolten says 1957. Casey says 1968.
No 69?
Kolten is on the board first. He was born December 3rd, 1961.
Look at the look of satisfaction on his face.
He does look quite satisfied.
I was pretty happy about that. I always start strong, but then I fuck it up every time.
Only, I believe, 10 or 11 questions.
Actually, I won maybe last time, but
I'll really remember.
yeah, I never got sent like a GIF or nothing like that.
Yeah, that's because here at the Serial Chillers podcast, it's the show where when you win, you don't win. So, he's born December 3rd, 1961 in Petaluma, California. Is the second son of an American father, Calvin Eugene Ford, and a German immigrant, his mother, Karen Brigitte Danziger. That's her maiden name.
Danzig?
Yeah. His father joined the Army in 1956 and tested into the top 1% and would work in signal intelligence. so he listened to radio chatter and had above top secret clearance. And
Dope. U.S. military is hella
he
sick.
did the damn thing. The Army is how he would meet his wife, Wayne's mother. He was stationed in Oh Jesus Christ, Herzogenaurach, about 14 miles or 22.5 from Nuremberg, Germany. 1963, he's 2 years old. He falls off a step and hits his head and bleeds a lot. Let's just start the McDonald triad now, right? Like it's a pretty serious injury. It's not a bump to the head. He hits he
Check.
falls off one step, hits another on the corner, and bashes his little baby skull, and does some bleeding, gets some stitches. He's fine in the end, but he does take a spill.
Is he fine in the end, though?
Well, I mean,
That's up for
Because we're
interpretation.
talking about him now.
yeah, that's true. So in his youth, he's not very close to his parents. This is due in large part to his parents' tumultuous relationship, which had never been normal, as his father was an American GI who Karen's parents believe was stealing their daughter away and did not agree to them being married. So he's stationed in Germany. He finds a nice German woman that he enjoys. He's like, come back to America with me, baby. Like, wait, come on. In Germany? Seriously? Like, do you know what shit just happened? And so she's like, yes, I will go. And
That was good.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And her mom's like, the fuck you will. And she's like, well, then I'll just get pregnant. Like, what do you think of that? And then we're going to have to get married. So, and her mom's like,
Checkmate.
technically correct is best correct. So she, they get a classic little American GI. He was out soiling his oats and found himself in a close relationship with a woman that he ends up getting maybe in a little over his head, let's just say. From the beginning, it's never really a loving relationship. It just sort of projected onto their son throughout his life. They had two sons, Rodney and Wayne. Wayne goes mostly by Adam. I'm going to call him Wayne because fuck him. Although they were not close, his mother always said that he was a good listener, and even more so than his older brother, Rodney. He was the good kid, like, wait, all right, aren't they all? No, they're not. They're not. But he was in this case. He was pretty obedient to his mother. He and his brother were classic brothers, though, like you'd expect brothers that are only about a year and a half apart. They fucking fought like cats and dogs. At one point, during one particular fist fight, bloodied one another's noses and exchanged black eyes. So, yeah. I mean, that's normal. It's fairly standard. Fairly standard. One time, my brother sideswiped me with a toolbox.
Shit.
Yeah, so you just keep your head on a swivel, or else someone will put it on a swivel for you, right? Yeah, that's true. What
is this guy, Johnny Hammersticks?
Fucking hammering away like he's fucking Tommy Noble.
Get real.
You're right.
Those things, 5, 6, 4, 3. So anyway, he and his brother, they're always duking it out. They're getting like in small scuffs with the law. They're like vandalizing shit. They're breaking into places, and they're just being overall, kid, shithead, fuckface, causing havoc. Question number 2. How would his mother attempt to get her misbehaving sons in line? Would it be A, a psychologist, B, exploring religions, C, Eastern medicine, or D, she didn't get them help? Psychologist, exploring religions, Eastern medicine, or she did not get them help. All right, Robbie and Kolten both say exploring religions. Casey says, fuck that, she didn't get him any help. Robbie and Kolten are going to score points because, yes, his mother did indeed go out and try to, when I say religions, I mean that she went to many churches over many months, different religions, and tried them out, like see which one fit for her. And I think in the end she landed in a Seventh-day Adventist church. So just in case you were wondering, the research has been done. That's the best one. All right. So just ask Karen Danziger. Okay. All right. You got it?
Got it.
Got that out there, guys? No, yeah. So she's going around church to church. Essentially at this time, Gene, the husband, he's got a really high-ranking job in the military. It's sending him all over the world. She didn't have a whole lot of trust for him because she is thinking about the way that they met, and he's just over there with every opportunity to do just that. And she assumes for the most part that he is doing that. So he's there, and she's exploring all these religions here. When he gets back from wherever he last was, she decides that she's going to leave Gene. Quick 2, question number 3. A weapon would be involved in the breakup altercation. What type of weapon? This one's just open. If you get it, it's 250 points. There are a lot of weapons, I know, but there are not so many.
We're talking specific weapons or objects as weapons?
Objects can be weapons.
Okay.
There's going to be, yeah. If you're incredibly specific with it, like a K-bar knife, I'll give you extra points or whatever, Okay, everybody got something?
Like it's PUBG or what?
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 Colton says frying pan. Robbie says hammer. What do you got over there?
A knife.
A knife from Bigfoot. And wouldn't you know it, on this great night, that none of you scored any points on that one because everybody skipped the most obvious and didn't realize that it was a .38 caliber pistol. Right? I was like,
That was my second guess,
I was like, I'm gonna
yeah.
make this one just open because gun seems too obvious. Nobody's gonna guess it. I'm getting good at this shit, dude. So right now, after 3 of 11 questions, Colton's got the lead, 500 to 250. Bigfoot at this time currently playing the game Operation Don't Get Shut Out.
Sucking the hind teeth.
The most unused.
So, yes, on the night that she told him she was going to leave him, he pulled out the .38 special and pretty much said, like, don't fucking do this. Like, you don't want to do this. So in her mind, she's like, he's going to fucking kill me. He's going to kill the kids. He's going to kill himself. Someone's going to find us all dead in this house. But she knew that they kept the bullets in a separate place from the gun just in case their fuckface asshole boys found it. So she tries to wrestle the gun out of his hand initially, realizing that she's not going to be able to do it. Tries to run to the ammunition, at which point Gene gives chase as well, knocks her down, and also gets to the ammunition in time. So he loads up the gun. He's just a big fucking strong dude.
Yeah.
Bowls her over and gets what he needs. Realizing that she's been outmaneuvered, she runs to the neighbor's house because she was afraid that he was going to kill her right then and there. She claims that neither boy woke up during this time, but to me it seems very fucking doubtful that during an altercation between your parents screaming and someone's got a gun and a wrestling match that you wouldn't wake up and be traumatized as fuck by this entire thing.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion. I don't know anything. I've only done 69 episodes of a serial killer podcast.
Nice.
69. She goes over, gets the police called, and goes back and says, like, I got to get the boys. She felt guilty as shit for running out and leaving them, but she figured dead me is not very good for anything. So she goes back to try to get the boys. She's like trying to sneak in at the time the police pull up. They roll up and help her out in the situation. They take her husband away because he had kind of kicked her ass a little bit and pulled a gun on her. So he goes to jail for the night, and they see each other 2 days later while she's taking shit away from the house, and she's like got a restraining order at this point, and I believe that because of the nature of the threat, she was allowed to have like a police tag like there while she was moving shit out. And he came, and she like told the police like, you can let him through to get his stuff he wants, and he just came in and said, I get it, you won. And that was like his like, fuck you, I get it, bitch. So question number 3, 50-50. Wayne and his brother are going to move in with which parent first after the divorce? 50-50. They moving in with mom, they moving in with dad. I never get so much backstory on the parents of serial killers. And I actually read a book for this episode. What you know? Colton says dad. Mom from both Robbie and Bigfoot. Colton knows what he's doing. Moving up in the world. 750 points for Colton because, yes, although it may not seem
I
like...
drove 300 miles for this shit.
Although it may not seem like that is what happened, He does, yes, indeed, move in with Calvin Eugene Ford. A funny thing about this family is everybody goes by their goddamn middle name. All the males of the family. So his name's actually Calvin Ford. Calvin Eugene goes by Gene Ford. This is Wayne Adam Ford. He likes to go by Adam. Like I said, fuck him. We'll call him Wayne the whole way. I'm never going to say Adam again for the rest of this
Piece of shit.
stupid. Yeah, fuck you, Wayne. Fucking now your middle name is Wayne. It's twice. Wayne.
Wayne, if
Wayne
you're still
Ford.
alive, you can call the Serial Chillers podcast at
805-666-2513. Fuck you. Yeah. So, yeah. He moves in with his dad. The divorce is very difficult for Wayne. I don't think that divorce is very easy on kids really ever, but his parents were not divorced amicably. They didn't have a good relationship before the divorce. They are not carrying a good relationship after the divorce. So as a kid, he just remembers this as being very painful for him. And he's like 12 at this point. So he's like developing emotionally as like a man. And he's probably getting real fucked up by these. Like I said, the parents claim that he stayed asleep, but odds are he at least heard his dad pull a fucking gun on his mom one night. So wild shit. Wow. When my parents would like raise their voice arguing, I'd be in the room like, oh my God, they're going to get a divorce tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it was never ever fucking serious at all. But I'm like, they're going to get divorced, dude. I don't know how are we going to be able to live here still? This is crazy.
Yay,
Fucking,
2 Christmases.
He's still 12 years old. He's going to stay with a family friend after the troubles between his mom and his dad. He doesn't want to stay with either of them. I think that just adds to how exactly rough it is that he's not even staying with either of them at this point. He's just like, well, I'm staying with Uncle Jeff or whatever. He's staying with somebody who's like closely related to the family, but not a relative, because he just can't fucking handle the tension between he and his parents. In 1976, he's now 15. His father is going to remarry, which greatly upset Wayne. He felt like he was not able to make a decision in this at all. Like his dad didn't ask him permission. He didn't ask, what do you think of this girl? He just said like, hey, I'm about to marry old what's-her-face here, and congratulations, she's your new stepmom, Wayne. And he's like, I don't know if I like that. So he's, not that it's his fucking business really, but he's very upset by the fact that his father chose to remarry so soon. It's been 6 years since the divorce. And he decides that after this, he's going to move from the family friends in with his actual Uncle Jimmy, his mom's brother. His Uncle Jimmy doesn't make him follow many rules, if any. So Wayne decides that he's going to drop out of high school because school ain't cool and fuck it anyway, and joins the military. You guys know what's coming. Question number 4. Which branch of the military did he join? What do you guys got? Which branch of the military did he join? We'll start on the left. Robbie says the Marines, the Army from Kolten, the Army from Bigfoot.
Damn, I have the Army written down. I crossed it out.
Does somebody think they got it? Because there were other branches you guys didn't cover. Do you think he joined the Coast Guard or the Navy? Like he wanted to go sail the 7 seas?
whatever it wasn't the Canadian Air Force.
Some more. This is going to be like 8 months later after that episode came out. So
It's going to be awesome.
What?
Nah, some people are going to know. Those true fans will be like, oh,
Yeah.
I know.
So Robbie scores because, yes, in January of 1979, at 17 years old, he became age eligible to join the Marine Corps. Congratulations, Robbie. 250 points. Robbie now has 500.
That was a sick victory dance, too.
Colton, 750.
I don't know if I'd call it a dance. Is
It was more of like
more
a pose,
like
I guess.
yeah.
Bigfoot still playing the dog.
I didn't mean to put you out there.
game.
No, it's good. It's good. I like people to know what's going on.
In October of 1980, he's now 19 years old. He meets Kelly Dick, who becomes enamored with him. You immature. Yes, he and Kelly Dick, who becomes enamored with him. They meet on a blind date. They were set up by a coworker of Wayne Wayne's, and he works at a very fine establishment. Question number 6: where did Wayne work at the time when he met Kelly Dick? Was it A, Shakey's Pizza, B, Safeway, C, McDonald's, or D, Unical 76? Where did Wayne
Should
work?
have stabbed.
Shakey's, Safeway, McDonald's, Unical, 76. All right, Bigfoot and Robbie both say McDonald's. Kolten says 76. But wouldn't you know it, you guys? He worked at Shakey's Pizza.
Fuck.
That's right. 19-year-old Wayno Wayne Ford was holding it down over at Shakey's as Kolten is holding down the lead, 750, 500.
What do you think drove him to be a serial killer?
That
The life he lived,
The terrible pizza he had
yeah,
to
the
serve.
Shakey's
It
Pizza.
was Shakey's. It was only Shakey's.
Yeah.
I can't say for certain that I've had Shakey's Pizza.
Never been.
Does it still exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, right?
They're still shakies.
Okay, so November of 1980, he is now 19 years old. He's hit by a drunk driver, causing head injuries that were quite severe.
Check 2.
The accident pushed the
Okay.
vehicle that he was in down a 40-foot embankment. He lost a lot of his front teeth and had a lot of permanent mouth damage and a massive concussion. He was initially put into the ICU, and it was indeed very serious. So it was a fucking gnarly accident. Like, I think what happened.
Why
is-
couldn't he have just died then?
That's if only, man, if only. So he's
He was in a car.
he was in a car and not at fault. Like this,
Right.
He was going around a curve and a truck was taking it too sharply, and they
And they
pushed
hit
him
him,
out
got it.
onto an embankment, and he went down a 40.
I didn't know if you had said he was in a car as well.
Oh yeah. He was in a vehicle, pushed down the embankment. It flipped a few times. The airbag went off in his face. Like it was a bad news bears situation. So, and the guy was drunk who had done it as well. So he's in the ICU. People around him after this whole situation are going to say they notice a very noticeable change in who he was, and he will later claim that this was when he began to have murderous desires. Yes. Question number 7. After he recovers, what is the next big thing he does? Does he have Kelly move in with him? Do they elope to Las Vegas? Does Kelly get pregnant? Or does he leave Kelly? Does she move in with him, elope to Las Vegas, gets Kelly pregnant, or leaves her? All right, it's the first time I think you guys have all answered something different. Bigfoot says leave her. Kolten says lost wages. And Robbie says, which one is it again? Robbie?
Move in with her.
Oh, move in with her. That's right. And Kolten's going to extend his lead because in May of 1981, at 20 years old, he and Kelly Dick elope to Las Vegas. Look at you, Kolten.
Look at me.
Kolten, 1,000 points. Robbie, 500. Bigfoot, not on the board yet. 4 questions to go. You guys know how it goes. Once the murderers start, there's not a whole lot of description of murder in this one. I just want to be clear. I know some people just love that shit, and we're not known for it, so we don't really get into it. This is a bizarre story in and of itself, and there's, for whatever reason, I don't know, because when we see in the end, it's fucking wild. There should be more about the story, and I'm not sure why there isn't. Because enough time has passed where there should be. But I'm giving you everything I got. Everything I got. So,
Get you on the flip flop.
yeah. So he and Kelly Dick elope in Las Vegas. They have a whirlwind love affair, and he's a changed man, though. And she said she was noticing this. Instead of the mild-mannered man he was just a few months later, he was forcing Kelly to get an abortion. After that, understandably, they began to drift apart.
He was wait, sorry. How did he force her?
She got pregnant, and I think she wanted to keep it, and he was like,
Nah.
no, I'll drive you there. You'll go in there. We'll fucking get this taken care of. Just a few months later in 1981, at the age of 20, his demeanor has changed quite a bit from that fun-loving, mild-mannered guy to forcing Kelly Dick to get an abortion. After that, understandably, they began to drift apart. January of 1982, he has oral sex exchanged with a 15-year-old who said that she had been raped by Wayne, causing Wayne to run off. Later, he's arrested for an attempted rape on the young woman. He would at first deny the allegations, but later admit to his wrongdoing. Yeah. So in 1984, he's going to finally and eventually be charged with the attempted rape. Question number 8, what would be his charge for this attempted rape? Would it be 15 to 20 years? Remember, he's still in the military at this time, so he's being tried, in the military. 15 to 20 years, 5 years, 1 year probation, or he's sent home from his base in Okinawa. 15 to 20 years, 5 years, 1 year probation, sent home from base. Kolten says sent home. Robbie said probation. Bigfoot said 5 years. Who thinks they got it right?
Probably Kolten.
Kolten thinks he got it right. You guys are all correct on that one. Kolten did get it correct. The only punishment he truly received was being sent home from his post in Okinawa, Japan.
Be in the military, be a cop, you could do anything.
Ooh.
Yeah, I said that.
Hot
All
take.
those MPs out there.
Hot take. So, after 8, Bigfoot still being shut out for I just can't believe what's happening here. The first time in his career, Kolten has 1,250 points. Robbie has 500. Robbie needs to get the next 3 correct without Kolten scoring any points on them. Bigfoot has, I don't remember if there's any stabbing. We'll have to take
I'm going to stab at all of them per listener request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all need to stab more often.
All right. I should have written more
More
stabbing.
stabbings.
Sorry.
getting
Yeah.
that.
More stabbings. That's what we need. At least there'll be more episodes provided. He's sent home from his base in Okinawa, Japan. Let's take an actual break right here. We're going to come back. Robbie has a fucking crazy batshit story, crazy fucking wild shit story for us. So we'll jump into that.
Shit will trip you out, yo.
And come back or we'll kill you. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 69. And welcome back, yes. So, we're here with Robbie, who's going to tell us a tantalizing story that is...
Forgot.
It is one of both mystery, intrigue, and murder.
Brutal ass murder.
Yeah, so I won't go into it anymore.
Yeah.
Robbie, take it away.
Thank you. So I'm going to tell the story tonight of Sylvia Likens. Sylvia Likens was born January 3rd, 1949. She was the third child of 5 to carnival workers, Lester Likens and Elizabeth Francis. Sorry. Her odd fact: her older siblings and her younger siblings were both sets of twins. They're both fraternal twins. So I thought that was kind of cool because I have twins.
She's one of 5 kids, and it's just like the
Twins.
She
Twins.
probably felt so left out.
Probably. She was really close with her younger sister Jenny, one of the twins. But the family was poor. The parents were carnival workers, and so they would kind of spend time with different family members, relatives, aunts, uncles, just kind of whoever could help kind of keep them up on their schoolwork. Jenny and Sylvia were actually then in 1965. They were sent to live with it was a family friend who they were sent to live with. Her name was Gertrude Banaszewski. Banaszewski is what we'll say the last name is.
It's almost assuredly incorrect.
Probably.
I'll back you on that.
We'll just call her Gertrude is what we'll call her. And Gertie.
Mama G.
And Gertrude had 7 other kids who lived in the house as well. And in exchange for Sylvia and Jenny living there, Gertrude would be paid $20 a week. And this was in 1965. So according to Greg, that's $160-ish, right, Greg? Is what we said?
No, it was 165.50.
165.50. There we go. Thank you.
160.09.
160.09.
Which isn't terrible. You're talking like, $600 a month.
Right.
Now.
And just to kind of care for them and let them live there. But when everything started off fine, but eventually when Gertrude wouldn't receive the money on time, she then would take it out on the girls, specifically Sylvia, and eventually kind of started to get physical with Sylvia. She'd be beaten. She'd be, verbally abused. And it slowly but surely started kind of to get worse. Eventually, all the other kids started joining in on the beatings with them, and they would put out cigarettes on Sylvia. They actually carved "I'm a prostitute and I like it" into her belly.
Seems so inefficient to deliver your message.
Yeah, right. Very inefficient. She'd give her scalding hot baths to try and cleanse her of her sins. Because she made Sylvia out to be this like promiscuous person, hence I'm a prostitute and I like it. And that's what other people thought of Sylvia, even though this wasn't true. She'd be pushed downstairs, and eventually Sylvia just kind of her body became so kind of just ragged that she couldn't control her bowels. She would wet the bed at night. She was just kind of done. She would wet the bed. She had no control of her bowels. And when she would do that, she'd get beaten even more because Gertrude would get pissed off at her. And there was one point where Gertrude hit her so hard that she broke her own hand. And so after getting her hand casted, she then beat her with her casted hand. There are a couple other details that I won't go into because if you want to know, you can look them up yourself. They're brutal. Everything's really, really brutal.
Everything.
Yeah, it gets super bad. Nasty. October 25th, 1965, she gets put down into the basement and gets locked in the basement. She tries to escape a couple of times and gets beaten for this. And Gertrude actually basically like steps on her head and crushes her head. And a day later, Sylvia she dies from those injuries. And there's a picture that I can send you, a couple of pictures that I found of kind of the house and the body and that kind of stuff.
It's just crazy to me that the other kids like got involved. It was like, it was so like weird Stockholmy that they were like, it's okay, we're just gonna stomp her out and kill her. Like it's normal.
Right.
Like, we're doing this together.
And other neighbor kids, a couple of neighbor kids actually got involved in it as well, and they took part in the beatings. Neighbors would do kind of welfare checks, and they got like persuaded into watching these beatings. And so many people were involved in it that turned a blind eye, or they just didn't care what they were seeing.
It's fucking wild.
So then what Gertrude did was a couple of days before Sylvia's death, she had Sylvia basically write a note, forced her to write a note that she was beaten and abused by these two men because she was a prostitute. And saying that these men
she
did
liked
this. Yeah. And that these men did this, and that's how she died. So then she convinces one of the children to go to a payphone and call the police, to have the police come to check this out. Well, then when the police come and they check everything out, they're getting ready to leave, and Jenny, the sister who's still there, tells the cops, "If you get me out of here, I will tell you everything." So they get Jenny out of there, and they arrest Gertrude, and Gertrude's sentenced to life in prison. All the other various people involved with it, they were sentenced to different types of sentences. Gertrude only serves about 20 years of her life sentence. She got a retrial and was found guilty again for a life sentence, and she only served about 20 years. She got out pushing 19 in the 80s. She got out, I believe it was, and then she died like 4 years of lung cancer. When she got out, she took a different name and lived under a different name, and died like 4 years later.
At least she died real quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. The other kids involved served their time and got out. One of the youngest daughters basically turned and testified against the family, and she got no time. She changed.
Do you know how old some of the youngest kids were?
Like 15 was the youngest.
So they're old enough to know, because I was gonna say is like it'd be weird to be 7 years old and going to a neighborhood kid's house and you don't. I'm not saying that you don't know right from wrong, but you see the mom kick the kid. We all just kick her here.
Yeah.
This is what we do. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The youngest was actually 10. Excuse me. It was 17, 15, 12, 11, 10, 8, and there was a baby. Jeez. And there was a baby.
Baby was doing it too.
Baby's like, fuck you.
So one of them turned and like didn't get any jail time because she turned, and she changed her name. She basically
Like the police were gonna walk out like, oh, nothing here.
Nothing here.
And she was like, no, there's some shit.
No.
You need to fucking take me with you.
if you the sister said like, if you take me with you, I will tell you everything. Sylvia's sister said that. And then when they arrested everyone, I believe it was Stephanie. She was 15. She said, I'm turning and I'm gonna testify against everybody. So crazy fucked up story. If you want to know more details, just Google murder Sylvia Likens, and it was some brutal stuff. For sure.
Maybe that's one we can because if I'm not mistaken, there's like some pretty graphic photos. Too.
Yeah, pretty graphic photos.
We can make their way onto the website with those ones. We'll collect those from Robbie and make their way over. So, holy shit, Robbie! Insert applause sound.
You're welcome,
here.
I guess.
Yeah, it's yeah. Kolten said everything. Even though he might have been trying to do the crowd noise, the long sigh is really
That was crowd noise.
That was crowd noise.
That was crowd noise.
The long sigh is also just as acceptable in this situation. Let me give you one of those. It's going to sound really similar, but different context.
That was like more sad.
Oh, okay.
Way more sad.
Cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Good. It conveyed exactly how I was feeling then. Okay, so let's jump back into our good friend Wayno Wayne Ford. If we'll remember, he's just been charged with that attempted rape of a 15-year-old girl. He's sent home from his base on Okinawa, Japan. Just a recap on the score here. Kolten 1250, Robbie 500, Biggfoot has yet to score.
Settle.
Hey, you're like Popeye and you didn't eat your spinach at the beginning. You thought you were at an advantage,
I know.
but really what happened is you're not. So, May of 1984, he's 23 years old. He's going to be taken into psychiatric care by the Army. The psychiatrist diagnosed Wayno Wayne with adjustment reaction with mixed features and personality disorder with explosive and immature features. So that's the official diagnosis.
Sweet diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a... Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck does that mean, man? I'll pick out the key words here. So he's got, like, mixed features. I kind of see. Like, he's a little mixed up in what he's got. Personality disorder with explosive, immature features. That also seems... he's still a fucking dumb kid in his head. And maybe he just stopped maturing at 19 when his brain got all fucking rattled in a car accident. Who knows? Later in May of 84, he is demoted from the rank of Sergeant E5 to Corporal E4 after a number of infractions and write-ups. So he's brought back home from Okinawa, Japan, does not get demoted for the attempted rape. And finally, after even more fuck-ups, they're like, God damn it. All right, bring
time.
down his pay. He's an E4 now. So he's had a roller coaster in the Marines. It's been up and down for him. At times, he'd be the model Marine, and other times we'd see him falling into psychotic episodes. Now you get that kind of nature versus nurture thought. Was it a few gnarly head injuries that got him here? Is it the shitty upbringing and parents? Or regardless of all those things, was all this shit just going to happen anyway? Who fucking knows, man? No one can. That's just the thing. September 27th, 84, he's given Haldol, an antipsychotic drug, after becoming violent. He went back and forth between being happy and violent and sad over the next few days. He's crazy manic. He's having increasing psychotic episodes. October of 84, he's diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and told that it is both severe and chronic. So that's a diagnosis we've heard probably a few more times than the first one. He's got a borderline personality disorder. That's essentially like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like schizophrenia without the voices. I could be way off on that. I thought I remember hearing something recently about it, and I'm probably just way off. That's a lot more common of a theme. Later in October, for some attempted stability, he would move back in with good old Uncle Jimmy. Thanks for being there, bro. October 21st, 1984, after some decisions are made, he is flown from Letterman Army Hospital for further testing. So he's still active in the military. They're trying to get him help. He's living with Uncle Jimmy off base, but they're still taking care of him. Cool. So October 23rd, 1984, he is admitted to Oak Knoll Naval Hospital. That's a different hospital than they initially brought him to. So after 2 days, he's been transferred to a new one already. 2 days after that, he's transferred to a naval hospital in San Diego because it is thought he could get more help there. So he's being transferred all over California to all these different naval hospitals because they want him to get this proper psychiatric help. But it can't be a good sign that he's been to 3 hospitals within the week here, right? So he stays the longest here in San Diego. In January 31st of 85, 3 months after 3 months of testing and analysis, question number 9. What did the Army do next for him? Did they put him back into active duty, give him a dishonorable discharge, seek even more psychiatric help, or give him an honorable discharge? Active duty A, dishonorable B, more psychiatric help C, honorable discharge D. All right, triple D across the board. Everybody says, you know what? He tried his best. He had an illness. They're going to honorably discharge him. You guys are all going to get points on this. I mean, it doesn't matter either way for the points.
But Yowie's on the board now.
Yep. Yep, that is Yowie's Operation Do Not Get Shut Out is a success. So, they honorably discharge him. He's honorably discharged from the Marine Corps for, quote, convenience of the government, character, and behavior disorders.
Mostly just convenience of the government.
Yeah, they're like, fuck this, man. You know how long we've been trying to get this fucking psycho help?
Yeah.
Like, what should we do? Like, put him on the streets. Good call.
Dude, like, what I would do.
Plenty of those in San Diego.
If I was in charge of the military, is like give them some firepower and go drop them off in a country that we're not friends with, and be like, "Hey,
The Canadian military or our military? What are we talking about?
Our military,
Our military. Okay.
you know, because we get down. But I would just go like,
Go away.
yeah,
Well, I guess that's why you're not in charge.
yeah, that's true.
So he's honorably discharged February of 1985. He begins his new job driving delivery trucks for Sears and Ward's, as well as repairing boats in any of his free time. He's a journeyman, let's call him.
Yeah.
He soon quits and moves to Southern California. Question number 10. Why did he leave his job and go to SoCal? Was it because A, there were greater opportunities, B, the work was beneath him, C, he moved to follow a new girl, or D, he just wanted a change of pace? What's the reason Wayne gives? Greater opportunities, the work is beneath him, moved to follow a new girl, just wanted a change of pace. Robbie wants to change his answer here.
I'll stay.
Kolten says follow a new girl. Robbie says beneath him. Casey Bigfoot says the work is beneath him. And he said the work was beneath him. Yeah, the work is definitely beneath him here. So I believe at this point, let me look at the last question. Oh, it's stabbable. It's stabbable. So we're, as you can tell, we've kind of got done with. Oh, you know what? I lied. I forgot. There's 12 questions on this one.
Oh,
we have a little bit of time. Still kind of the same situation. It's going to be that
The
last
old Red
question.
Sox
stab.
game getting the best of you.
Okay, so we have 2 questions left. It's whatever. Who cares who wins? Whatever. That's not what the show's about. So he leaves his job because it's below him. He is going back to Southern California. This is when he officially wants to start being called Adam. So we've been calling him Wayne all along. That's what we're going to continue to do. In 1986, he's 25 years old. He works as a driver's helper, unloading trucks for American Delivery Service, delivered papers for Orange County Register, worked at 2 car dealerships, a motorcycle shop, drove a school bus for disabled children, and became a tow truck driver and a security guard.
But this work is not below
I was
him.
just going to say, he can never keep any of those jobs for more than a few months, and he left his job that was below him driving for Sears. So, not to say that any of these jobs are like ditch jobs or anything like that, but he left a very similarly, paced job because this shit is below me. I'm going back to Southern California. I'm a distinguished man. I'm going to get work where people respect me. Hello, yes, may I drive the short bus? 1986, he's now 25 years old. He meets Wadad Radwan, and developed an on and off 6-year relationship. So over the next 6 years, we're going to see Wadad travel in and out of Wayne Wayne's life. 1986, he is arrested for animal cruelty. He has a dog that he was not particularly fond of that he can never get to behave. So to punish the dog, he, of course, shot it in his backyard and let it die. October of 87.
Of course.
Yes. He met and moved in with Janice Hawkins. As with a lot of serial killers, we're going to see him kind of go on and off. You might hear me not introduce a woman that he's leaving or vice versa. Just know that it's just happening for him at this point.
He's not a player. He just crushes a lot.
Sure. He meets and moves in with Janice Hawkins. He gets himself comfortable, moves all of his things in. And not too long after that, she would ask him to leave. Question number 11. Why did she kick him out of her house? Was it because he ate all of the food? He stole her car? He killed her cat? Or he masturbated in front of her teenage daughter? Ate all the food, stole her car, killed her cat, masturbated in front of the teenage daughter.
It's like a toss-up between C and D. Fucking creep.
That teenage daughter was C and D.
I'm going. Jesus Christ.
Zing!
All right, Kolten says masturbated in front of the teenage daughter, as well does Bigfoot. Robbie said he killed her cat. You sick motherfuckers. He did masturbate in front of her teenage daughter.
Man.
So that's
I knew it.
250 more for Bigfoot.
He just Louis C.K'd it and was like, ah!
250 more for Kolten.
Okay.
You mind? Because I'm gonna. If you don't want to, I'm just gonna. You know what? Just hang out.
Greg as Louis C.K. for Halloween.
Some good comments coming from the bunker this evening.
Yeah. So Bigfoot can actually take over second place if he gets question number 12 correct, and Robbie misses.
Dang.
So, yeah, right? That's it. You can tie second place if you. So you won't get. You won't be last alone. That's what I'm really trying to say. Kolten, don't worry, you're fine.
But we both finished though, Robbie, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
can't believe you came.
It's not how you play the game. It's as long as you finish. So, yeah, he gets kicked out of Janice Hawkins' house like a week after there because he decides to pull out his dick and jerk off in front of her teenage daughter. He's going to move back in with Wadad right after that because it seems like she'll go ahead and take him back anytime he's fucking anything else up. So in 1988, he's now 27 years old. He finds a teen couple broken down and brings them home. Wadad found him playing cards with no underwear and his balls hanging out of his shorts because he liked to watch the girl's reaction to this. So he's starting to display some fucking weird things. Like he brings these people home, like he's being fairly normal. And you know, whatever, it's 88 and some of the free spirits are still hanging around, hitchhiking and shit. Like he's like, I'm gonna bring them home, we're just gonna like hang out, play some games. I'm gonna dangle some balls, see what she thinks about it, you know? And she's clearly terrified by it, but he's like, I actually think I kind of like this too. So he's discovering some things about himself here. In 1988, he watched his roommate with Wadad's cousin. Cousin comes over to visit. He goes ahead and does a little peeping Tom to the window of the house he lives in. Notice the cousin's sleeping. So every night he's out there watching the cousin sleep while she's staying over. And on the last night, the roommate catches him out there fucking jerking off watching his cousin sleep in his bedroom. So, yeah, that's the kind of guy we're dealing with here at Wayne Wayne. He's doing a little escalation, it seems. So he gets kicked out of that house. He gets his own house. Where? Next door to Wadad. At this point, she realizes that he is fucking crazy and their intimate relationship ends, and she tries to just stay amicably friends with him from here on. September of 1992, he applies for a job with the U.S. Border Patrol, but did not get it because of his peculiar application and lies about his demotion and being discharged. So he initially got through with just his basic experience, and they looked into his discharge, and it took 5 minutes to be like, what the fuck? These last 9 months in the Army were in psychiatric care. Okay.
You're out.
No, thank you. So, and he just always said, oh, they profiled me. 1992, he's in a bar and punched a girl, and he injured her. I think what it said is that he fractured her eye socket. So I can't imagine that he punched her very softly, but he said, of course, it was just an accident. Maybe he was hardcore dancing, Kolten. Do you think that's a possibility? I fucking hate my arms.
Probably not in the 80s.
I fucking hate my dad, and I fucking hate the grass.
That was very like early 2000s.
Oh, it's 92 though now, so he's getting close. Maybe he was just ahead of the
Before his
game.
time.
March of 1993, he's arrested for suspicion of firing a weapon and cruelty to animals once more because he was taking pot shots at neighborhood cats. Yeah. So that's one way to handle it, right? You know, like, oh, these fucking cats are always around here. Instead of being like, I'm going to get one of those traps, put a little tuna in there. You know, they go in there and they catch them. I take them over to the SPCA. They kill the fuck out of them. I don't really have to worry about it. He's like, nah, I'm going to get to 22. I'm just going to kill them dead. I'm going to shoot out here. I got this. So October 15th of 94, he's now 32 years old. He's going to marry a woman named Elizabeth, whom he had met just 2 months prior. The following year, December 10th, 95, he's going to have a son named Max born by Elizabeth. In July 4th, 96, Elizabeth finally leaves him as he was being very shifty, sneaking around, and being abusive towards herself and her son. October 26, 1997, in Eureka, California, a duck hunter discovers a woman's remains in Humboldt County. Police were contacted, and the body was disassembled and eventually called, I can't believe that like this was the official name, Torso Girl. Yeah, so unable to identify. Go ahead, Greg.
Something Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, exactly. So he's unable to identify the body at first because there are no arms, no legs, no breasts, no head. So this Torso Girl would just eventually be a Jane Doe. Again, I think there are a total of 5 murders he's going to be charged with. I really only jumped into this one because the more bizarre story is, well, we've already kind of gone over here. And what we're going to talk, yes, people die. That's what happens in every episode here.
Oh.
I'm kind of sick of describing it, really. If you want to go and see the description of how he murdered these women, please feel free. I found him very easily by Googling his name, Wayno Wayne Ford. So it's one of those things, you know. Go look into it if you want to know. We're more interested in his history and kind of what happened after. So at least at this point, because, you know, I'm sick to my stomach. All right, so a duck hunter finds her body. It's a torso. It's been fully disassembled.
I like that you use the word disassembled, like it's
like it should be assembled.
like it was a Barbie and they just pulled the head and arms off. And
Well, you don't know. Were you there?
it's true.
December 5th,
He
Wayne
did shoot cats, so
Wayne tries to get himself help when he goes to a VA mental health clinic, but never followed through with his treatment. He's not a sociopath or psychopath. Like, he is very much feeling it. He's very much like if he were Catholic, he'd be in, you know, fucking full confession right now because like he can't handle it. In January of 1998, he gets super fucking drunk at his regular dive bar and starts telling everybody how much he hates women and he wants to cut them up and hide all the parts. So January of 1998 is kind of like height of women disappearing around their area and being cut up. None of the crimes were initially put together because they were done in like very unsimilar ways, although they were very like they're women being taken apart. They weren't initially put together because they're very different looking. So he's at his normal bar saying like, I fucking hate all these stupid bitches and I wish that I could just fucking take them all and fucking cut them apart. And he's making a huge scene at this fucking bar. They kick him out. Come on, you fucking asshole. And everybody kind of knows his deal anyway, so they just write him off as a dumbass crazy drunk this night, just as they had many before. April 15th of 1998, Elizabeth is like, yo, fuck this, I'm out. Good call. June 2nd, 1998, a woman's body is found floating in an aqueduct near Buttonwillow, California by construction workers. There's like a steel cable ran across the water for whatever reason, and the body is hung up in on the steel cable. So these guys are like doing their normal rounds, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And there's another mutilated body down there. Yeah. In June, he picks up and rapes the Orange County doe. She would be a sex worker that he picked up, and they would find her, again, taken apart and dub her the Orange County doe, which is a little bit better of a name than Torso Girl. July of 1998, the second body is identified as Tina Gibbs. This is Orange County doe. She is a sex worker who just took some time. It took her some time to get her DNA and fingerprint profile back from databases. So they've got for the first time a name to this story, and they're starting to put some things together right now. August 23rd of 1998, Wayne Picks up and rapes RH, or the Sonoma County doe. So some of these we went ahead and abbreviated the name on. September of 98, he kidnaps and rapes VR. On September 25th, 1998, a woman's body is found nude on the side of I-5 near Lodi, California. The body is identified eventually as Lynette White. So, Lodi, not far from here. You want to go skydiving, like you go to Lodi. That's the deal. We could probably go find the spot. Some of these hit a little close to home, and it's fucking weird. And it sounds like, even though he's in California, big state, he's in Southern California, he's in Northern California, he's traveling all over the place. So sometimes when you're like,
which is crazy to hear,
yes,
places that we know.
When you're researching this, you're like, man, I drive by that like not incredibly unoften. It's 48 minutes, from here. Not to hone in on us too much. We've told where we are. We've got a fucking return address now. So yeah, she's found off the I-5 near Lodi. She was identified as Lynette White. She was just going to the grocery store when she was picked up. This particular woman was not a sex worker. She was just picked up by Wayne. October of 1998, he killed and mutilated Patricia Ann Thames. When police get to the body, they see that her left breast has been completely removed. October of 98, he's 36 years old now. He begins praying more and talked about suicide more and listened to Bible cassettes more. I like that all these are more. He was doing all these a little bit. He starts doing them a lot more right now, though. He starts to fear that he had no conscience. He was very remorseful for what he had done, and his looking more into religion was his way of coping, although it was making him feel even more guilty, he said. So he was listening to some religious tapes that were just bringing him down, even though he was thinking, all right, I'll find some like solace in this. And he was like, whoa, I am a piece of shit in the eyes of the Lord. Oh my gosh. So November 3rd, 1998, Wayne admitted to his brother Rodney that he had hurt some people real bad and wanted to turn himself in later that day. But he told his brother that he doesn't really want to talk about it. He just wants to have a good day with Rodney. So they go to Denny's and have some breakfast. They sit there and talk and reminisce about the good times. And in the early afternoon, Rodney and Wayne walk into the, I believe it was the Orange County. No, it wasn't Orange. Some sheriff's department. Who fucking cares in the end? And they have him wait in the office for like 30 minutes till a detective can come out. And Rodney says, like, I'm here with my brother. And he's got something that he wants to tell you. So the police come out, and Wayne essentially tells him, like, I don't want to say anything, but you got to look in my left jacket pocket. So, the police put on rubber gloves. They ask him, is it something that's going to poke me? Is it something that's going to poke me? Something that's going to stab me? Is there a weapon? And he's like, no. So he reaches in, he pulls out a Ziploc baggie with something that they can't make out inside. He said it looked like a chicken cutlet or chicken breast. It took him moments to realize, and once he flipped it over and saw the nipple, he realized that he was holding a woman's breast inside the Ziploc baggie.
And I like boobies.
So police initially, because they don't know that the woman this is connected to is dead or anything, they initially arrest him on suspicion of mayhem, which I guess was the most apt charge for having a boobie in your pocket.
Where did you get this? I swear she gave it to me.
So on Kolten, I know you were saying you don't want to puke this episode, but here we go, man. That's about as bad as it gets. On November 4th, 1998, after interviewing with detectives for hours, Wayne was placed in a padded cell and placed on suicide watch because of his unstable emotional state. But hey, let's slow down here for just a second. Think about how nice a padded cell would be for like just 2 or 3 days, right?
Just chilling.
just you got nothing to do, man. Everything is a bed, dude. Like just
Everything is a
enjoy.
bed.
Like if there's no straitjacket involved, I think I might could fucks with that. I might could be a part of that. So he's prescribed medications to calm him down, which he took without incident, and they seemed to work as they were supposed to do after a long conversation with his brother. So essentially, there are problems with this story in that Wayne comes in. He understands he's done some bad shit, but he says, like, look, I just want a lawyer so I can, like, do this the right way, you know? And the cops are like, listen, Wayne. If
You got boobies in your jacket.
Yeah, if we want to get to the bottom of this, we want to solve this, because he's sorry. He's very fucking sorry. He's very remorseful. It was his choice. They had nothing. They were nowhere near. They weren't even connecting a lot of these at first. So he wants a lawyer. They don't want to bring him one per se, even though legally they really should. So what they do is they go out and they tell Rodney, yo, you need to go in there, tell Wayne, he's got to talk to us before a lawyer gets here. He's just holding up the process. We all know what happened. And the problem is that Rodney really doesn't, because if you remember, Wayne was like, yo, homie, I don't really want to talk about it. Like, let's just go to Denny's, which now look back, he had a booby in his pocket. Yeah. So
With a side of booze.
yeah. It was a very, very weird thing to think about. But yeah, you know, so Rodney's out there and he's not really sure what happened. He wants his brother to get a fair treatment. Like, he wants him to get a lawyer and shit. So he goes in and he's telling him, like, hey, you should probably talk to him. But he's not telling him, don't fucking not have a lawyer for it. So I think, in a way, Rodney convinced Wayne to talk to the police without a lawyer, even though he was just trying to tell him, like, hey, do the right thing and tell them, because Rodney didn't really understand what was going on completely too. Wayne was like, fine, I'll just talk then. So before he ever gets a lawyer, he pretty much spills the beans about a lot of shit,
yeah.
especially the particular booby he had in his pocket. So there's a Miranda rights thing right off the bat. Before we ever get to trial, you know, this is going to be an issue where he requested a lawyer many times. In the transcribed police interviews, he asks several times, like, where's my lawyer? Like, why isn't he here yet? So he's a crazy person, but he understands his rights, you know. So he's going to interview with the detectives for hours. He's placed in the padded cell. His brother convinces him, dude, just go ahead and talk, even though that's not exactly what he was trying to do. On November 4th, the story was released to the public without giving too much detail. The story still got out about him turning himself in with the breast in his pocket. Because, like, you know, those sheriff's department guys or those detectives, they're still only men. You know, they're still only people. You know, like, yeah, that's a story that shouldn't have got out, but at the same time, they're like, dude, all right, look, you can't fucking tell anybody. But this guy came and turned himself in today. Dude, I grabbed it. It was a booby. It got out somehow, and it spread like wildfire. So it became very cult famous for that. He is going to meet with. After the story is released, the next day he takes police to the place where Torso Girl's legs are buried, and then a separate location where her arms are buried. So on their own, they had recovered one of her arms. So they had her torso and arm. He shows her the other arm and the location of the legs. So yeah, man, it's fucking crazy. Later that same day, people that knew him stated their reactions to the press, and neighbors began to tell their own stories about Wayne. Some of them true, some out of the news, possibly for attention. So people were like pretending they knew him. They were like glomming onto the story here and making it bigger than it was, is what it seems like. The same day, November 5th, 1998, Wayne meets with a psychologist to conduct an evaluation. He's arraigned at Humboldt County Hospital Superior Court for one murder. There's no hospital, sorry. November 6th, the next day, he's arraigned at Humboldt County Superior Court for one murder. December of 1998, he's indicted. Wayne is indicted on single count of first-degree murder for the death of Jane Doe, setting the trial to July. So this is not the one they identified because they still haven't pinned that to him. This is where the one they found the torso girl. He took him to the legs, he took him to the arms, but either he didn't want to or he could not identify her. So just with the body, he's being tried for the murder of this Jane Doe. Oh, the trial is going to be set for July. This is in December. So in June, they arrest Wayne technically for 4 counts of first-degree murder because he had been forensically connected to 3 more torso murders in which bodies were scattered about and pieces were never completely discovered. So they've all been tied together now. The other 3, I think, are going to come in another trial because he's already been set with a date for this one. So Wayne was transferred to the West Valley Detention Center in Rancho Cucamonga in October of 99. So much happened with that Miranda rights issue. It held the trial up for an additional 5 years, and it wouldn't start until January of 2004. I think in the end they decided that Wayne himself, even though they tried to persuade him, understood that he was giving his story without a lawyer present. Like, he still could have waited, he boxed him out, but in the end they decided that even though he asked for a lawyer, he still gave the information prior to his lawyer ever.
Well, they knew that his brother went in there and told him, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they thought he was just doing the good thing.
Right.
And that's what the... Weird, man. Weird how this justice system works. Because he's, like, clearly a sick guy. I'm not saying anything he did was acceptable or... it was all incredibly deplorable shit, but he's clearly not a dude who is thinking right for himself.
Right.
January of 2004, Judge Michael Smith rules most of Ford's confessions are admissible. However, the confessions made after 11/5 of 1998 are inadmissible. January 17th, 2006, jury selection begins. There are 900 people screened to be in it. Eventually, 6 men and 6 women and 6 alternates are chosen. On March 13th of 2006, the trial finally begins. Well, think 900, screening 900 jury members, even just that is probably got to take fucking... I can't even imagine how long that take. I used to interview people in retail. In like an 8-hour shift, you can interview 10 or 12 people. Like interviewing 900 fucking people. Who knows what type of resources they had? I don't know. April 12th, 2000.
Well, and they got to argue over each person too, and decide whether or not they want them. So it's not just a quick process.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, we're talking selection began January of 2006. Trial. I mean, it only took 2 months, but from the beginning, from the onset. From the final, him being transferred to be waiting on his July charge, July of 99, his trial is going to begin in January of 2006, March of 2006. In April, the prosecution finished their case. So the jury selection took longer than the actual court trial did. April 24th, the defense begins their case. And on May 15th, 2006, Wayne is given a psychological exam, found to be only slightly more psychotic than the average inmate. Huh. In June of 2006, the prosecution delivered their closing arguments, which took 2 hours and 15 minutes. June 15th, the following day, the defense delivered their closing arguments, the finish of their closing arguments. June 19th, the jury, now 7 women, 5 men, after some of the alternates came in, began deliberating. The jury reached a verdict after 8 days of deliberating. He's guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder. July 12th, 2006, the sentencing begins. The jury decided on a sentence. And on October 17th, 2006, Ford was interviewed for a pre-sentence report and claimed that he was very sorry, but he does not think that he is guilty for 4 counts of first-degree murder, however, is guilty of 4 accidental murders. So he's saying, due to my mental illness, these murders should be considered an accident, not first-degree murder. The judge decided that no retrial would take place and agreed with the jury's findings and agreed with the death penalty. February of 2007, Ford would be transported to San Quentin prison where they serve out those death penalties and wait on death row. Question number 12 and the final. In what year would he die? Let's just go stabs all the way around. And I should always say that one of the options is always that he is still alive. So the trial ended February 2007. What year did he die? Everybody's saying Wayne still fucking kicking. You guys don't think like some inmates beat the shit out of him, or he died of like heart disease?
You can smuggle in those boobies for the other inmates.
Smuggling in boobies. Yeah. So you guys are all correct. Wayne is still alive. Kolten is our champion today. Woo. Congratulations, Kolten.
Yes.
That's just wonderful. Now that we're at the end, is there anything you guys would like to throw out there? Casey, I hear you make rings.
I do make rings. BIGGFOOT designs.
Them rings is fly as fuck too.
It's true what he's saying. They are. Yeah, go find Casey. He makes fucking wonderful top-notch rings. Colt, anything you want to share tonight before we get out of here?
Just keep listening to this show.
Yeah, guys, listen to what Kolten said and listen to this shit. Robbie, what you got, my dude?
Nah, not too much. Had a good time, man.
Good, man.
Appreciate the invite again.
Yeah, excellent to have you as usual. Hella Greg over there in the bunker, mate. What do you got? What's going down?
It's none of your damn business, Dan, and I'll thank you to stay out of my personal affairs. I'm just kidding. Thanks for having me on. It's been really fun. I hope to be invited back again.
Yeah, you're pretty much obligated at this point. You're on the logo. So
there's a lot of Ace Ventura tonight.
Yeah, well, there should always be a lot of Ace Ventura every night. That's what I say, and what I say goes here on the Serial Chillers podcast. Nope. Thank you guys for being here. It was always fun to have you. I hope we can get Kolten here more often. Maybe Super Network will make so much money we can just like fly him here weekly to do this. So we had a good time.
Not without the support of listeners like you. So remember, go to patreon.com/Serial Chillers podcast.
Fund future flights.
The intro to the outro right here. Well, thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Kolten. Thank you, Bigfoot. Thank you, Hella Greg. And thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 69 of the Serial Chillers podcast.
Nice.
And thus completes episode 69 of the Serial Chillers podcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with us. Wayno Wayne Ford, fuck 'em. Thank you, Robbie and Biggfoot, for being here. Thank you, Kolten, for being here and traveling all the way from San Diego just to be on the show. Dude, big ups, big ups. Reach out to us, you guys. We like to talk to you. Facebook is Serial Chillers Podcast. Facebook group is Serial Chillers Podcast. The Instagram is at Serial Chillers Podcast. The Twitter is at Chillers Podcast. Email address, serialchillerspodcast@gmail.com. Call or text us anytime, 1-805-666-2513. serialchillerspodcast.threadless.com for all of your merchandise needs. And please rate and review us on motherfucking everything you can. Positive reviews, please, only. Patreon.com/Serial Chillers Podcast is, of course, very important to us. I guess I haven't dove into the depths of Patreon lately because it feels like it's so repetitive. But if you're new here, Patreon.com/Serial Chillers Podcast, you can give as little as $1 a month. And with everybody chipping in just a little bit, it is helping the show so much. So we appreciate that so much. Remember, don't talk to strangers.
This has been another presentation from Super Network.